This evening, I wish to keep my remarks brief. You'll tell me if I succeeded at the end. I wish the lengthier and louder words to be those found in our celebratory concert following our singing of Hatikva, Israel's national anthem. Let our music and songs be the most important words we offer this evening for the celebration of Israel's 74th anniversary. But I'm a rabbi and I have to say something. And I was thinking of how I can convey the significance of Yom Haatzmaut and the importance of a Jewish state to our fifth graders most especially. I have decided to pen a letter in an effort to communicate how unparalleled this moment is in the sweep of Jewish history. I know a letter is in itself unusual, and perhaps our students have never even received one. So maybe it is better to imagine I'm sending a very long text message. So here it goes. Dear fifth graders, yesterday Jews throughout the world celebrated Yom Haatzmaut, Israel Independence Day. It was not always that we celebrated this holiday. In fact, we've only been celebrating it for 74 years. And I know that sounds like a really, really long time if you're a fifth grader and not as old as me. But think of this. When some of your grandparents were your age, there was no such holiday as Yom Haatzmaut. And certainly when your great-grandparents were your age, there was no such thing as the State of Israel. The holiday of Passover we just finished celebrating at our Seder tables is much, much older. We have been eating matzah for 2,000 years, although thank God only for a week each year. Now that's a long time. And back when we first started having Passover Seders, there was even no such thing as the United States of America. And that brings me to another point. The country we live in and call home is 170 years older than Israel. In fact, soon after we first started celebrating Passover, we were forced to leave the only place Jews called home, and that place is exactly where Israel is now. And that's why, if you were still paying attention after the Afikomen and eating too much of those jelly rings and chocolate marshmallows, you would have heard what we started singing when we had to leave our only home 2,000 years ago, L'Shana Haba'ah B'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. And we started saying those words when we lost our only home of Israel and its city of Jerusalem. We sang that song for thousands of years. Your great-grandparents sang it in what they called the Old Country. Jews sang those three words in every country they called home during those 2,000 years. Here in the United States of America, in Ukraine, where my children's great-grandfather is from, in Poland, in Belarus, where our friend Zissel is from, in Spain, in Italy, in Iraq, where my friend Ed Zichrono Livracha was from, in Morocco, and Egypt, and all the other countries where Jews built lives for themselves. And in many places like here, and in many countries, we were able to find wonderful homes. And even though we loved many of those places, and we learned many great things there, like how to knadel a knadel, and how to write beautiful poems and gorgeous songs, and how to read Greek philosophers, we never, ever stopped praying and dreaming about going back to that first home. No matter where we lived, we could not stop thinking about Jerusalem and Israel. And then about 125 years ago, Jews started saying, what are we waiting for? Let's go back to Israel. And they started building homes there. And even though it's going to be a hard life, they said to themselves, there it's going to be a great Jewish life. And first it was just a few people, and then it was thousands of people. And now there are more Jews living in Israel than in the United States, and there are more Jews living there than even in New York or on Long Island. And one day, I hope each of you will visit there and experience Israel for yourselves. You can walk on the beaches of Tel Aviv, or climb the hills of Jerusalem, or hike in the sands of the Negev desert. I hope you will fall in love with this place and think of it like a second home. So promise me this. You must always remember that you and your parents can experience something that Jews have not been able to experience for thousands of years. It used to be that when Jews said the words "next year in Jerusalem," L'Shana Haba'ah B'Yerushalayim, they probably thought to themselves, that's a nice dream, and I'm probably never going to see that place. But you can say to yourselves, maybe next year, or if not, the year after that, or perhaps when I'm in high school. And the fact that you can say that and think that makes you unlike almost every other Jew who ever lived before you. And try to take that one fact in. Try to always remember that. One day I hope we can visit Israel together. Until then, let's enjoy the holiday. So happy Yom Haatzmaut, happy Israel Independence Day, Lehitraot, see you later, and TTYL, Rabbi Moskowitz.